Hello everyone, and today we will be discussing about one of the most famous or widely used application of artificial intelligence, that is called an expert system. And it is in the name itself that expert system means that this information system work like an expert here. And who is an expert, and what he do, and all other things we will study. Expert means, we call some people as an expert here. When we are calling those people as an expert, means they have so much of information about the things what they are doing. Let's say we call let's say that mm, when let's say when the Delhi government asked one engineer named called Sridharan to start up to execute Delhi metro train. He completed in a very short period of time, and after the executing of that, wherever that metro project starts, that is, it was started by it was started by many states, and these state people used to call Sridhar for assistance or something. Even Bangalore metro people also called Sridhar here, right? He is considered as an expert in that area here because he has executed a project himself and he knows in and out of that here. We call him as an expert here. Like that, there are experts are there in different areas, in medicine, that is in business, and in other areas there are some experts are there, right? And it is what will happen is, when we are running a business here or when we are running something, it is very difficult to completely rely on an expert here because their numbers is very small, and sometimes the experts may not be available for our time maybe. And because of that, we need an alternative means we need another thing that act like an expert here. So the scientists thought of making a one software here. If the software is installed with a computer system, which that software act like an expert, so that will give a suggestions to our problems. We don't have to go to an expert to ask his opinion here. Understood? So how this software work is, first what we do is, let's say take an example of that metro, Delhi metro as an example, and that expert is engineer named called Sridhar, right? Where that while executing the metro project in maybe in the heart of Delhi, that is maybe in a very congested area or something, right? So what suggestion that Sridharan has given to his team to execute that metro work here, that knowledge is taken and we store that knowledge in a computer database here, right? When we store that, suppose if the Bangalore metro was also trying to do the same thing here, right? They could the Bangalore metro people don't have to call Sridhar here. They could simply take a help from the computer here. The computer itself give that information here, give that suggestion here, right? Like that here, the knowledge of Sridhar is stored into a computer, right? And one more example we will take it here. The other example is, let's say that usually whenever the insurance, every vehicle that is running on the roads get an insurance from companies here, right? So because why? Because the vehicles are costly. If something happens on the road because of accident, or because of sudden fire, because of some circuit problem or something, some wiring problem in the vehicle here, the vehicle wiring problem in the vehicle, the sudden fire happens. For all these unpredictable things that happens to the vehicle, they used to get an insurance here, right? So let's take one example, which I was seen it personally. So there was a one truck which was there in some place, that is in Chikbalapur, to be precise. So in Chikbalapur, while loading the vehicle, because of there was some minor electrical connections in the dashboard, some spark has come out from the dashboard here, and after that the vehicle started burning it because of that spark here, because fuel and everything is there, it started burning it, and in just 10 or 15 minutes time, the entire half 50% of the truck body was completely burnt out. So And that owner, he took an insurance policy from HDFC Bank, HDFC Ergo insurance company, and he asked for a claim. Then the HDFC Ergo people came to the site where that truck was there, where it burnt, and they started recording the details, what caused this type of thing, and why it burnt like that. And they observed that there was one additional there was some additional light was fitted to the vehicle. Additional means usually the vehicle comes with the standard lights that is fitted by original equipment manufacturers. Original equipment means, let's say, Tata, Leyland, they'll fit headlamps to the vehicle. That's the standard accessories. And here, since the brightness is not that good with that standard, the individual owners, what they used to do is, after buying the vehicle, they used to add another extra light, and they'll add an chargeable unit inside the cabin, so that the driver could charge their mobile phones with that, by using that. And they'll add an extra fan, they'll add an extra audio system or something else. All the things, modifications, they do it here. So in this case, yes. So after that, the HDFC people have said that they can't give a claim to the vehicle because it is an additional things added, and the owner asked, what will happen if we add an extra light or a stereo system or something to that vehicle? And the company people have said that when something is added extra, what they usually, this is extra thing is getting done from some local mechanics here who don't have a proper knowledge of the electrical system of a vehicle here. What they used to do is they used to take some unbranded or a local wiring system, and they used to peel off that skin, and they used to attach it, and all sort of things they used to do it here. And this wire that is used for attaching an extra light, it is not a branded one or not of having good quality. So because of that, over the time, the skin of that wire will go off because of wear and tear and all, and that wire will get in touch with, when it is touched with the metal part of truck here, that will cause a fire, and that will create a spark, and after that, when a fire, something happens because of that here, right? For saying this took almost 15 days or something else, right? From the date of investigation to giving a final advice, to final opinion to a customer, 15 days. This could have been avoided if we have the same thing that is stored in an export system here. Let's say like it will be like this here. Export that is again first initial investigator who investigate the vehicle and send a report to the computer. In the computer only we stored that claim cannot be given if the vehicle is having following criteria. If the vehicle violated some criteria like this here, right? And the computer itself, on the day after receiving the investigation report, it itself will give the suggestions to the owners here, right? So in that type of case, we could use this export system here, right? And the actual definition of export system that is mentioned in our book is, so it is a knowledge-based information system. Why knowledge means, again, knowledge of export is taken into that. That uses its knowledge about specific complex application areas to act as an export consultant to the end users. It acts like an export here. It provides answers to questions in a very specific problem area by making human-like inferences about knowledge contained in a specialized knowledge base here. In addition to giving a solution to the problem here, what that export system will do is how it has come up for that solution here. It will give the complete picture here. Complete picture means why this type of suggestion has been given to the customer and what analysis this has done. Every details it will give, right? Simply it will not give a solution saying that claim can't be given. It will give the reason for that also here, right? So that is there in this. And we have some what is called components of an export system here, right? There are components of an export system, and there are 4 methods of knowledge representation. One is case-based, frame-based, object-based, and rule-based rule-based knowledge. So 4 types of it here. Now let's come to that examples of it here, right? The first example that we would take we would like to take is general example I already told you, but the main when this expert system started using it, all the things we will study now. The first one is about the first export system was being developed in the year 1970, close to 1970, at Stanford University, where as you can see, I've showed it, I've collected the details here, right? So expert system was designed, was actually developed for treating some blood infections here. The blood infection, they used to call that malamite or something, some disease name is there. To detect that, they this expert system was being developed here, right? And mycin would attempt to diagnose the patient based on reporting symptoms and medical tests. The program could request further information concerning the patient as well as suggest additional laboratory tests to arrive at a probable diagnostic, after which it would recommend a course of treatment. It requested if a patient requires it, it will give the reason also why this type of medicine has been suggested here. It will work like this here. So, this is some kind of a disease which is related to the blood infection here. What that usually, how that will, treatment was given to that patient, or how the medicines were suggested to the patient was like this here. First, the patient comes to an hospital. And the doctor used to take a blood sample from that patient here, and used to, after seeing the blood sample, and if it comes from that he is having a disease like this, then he used to recommend a medicine for that here. And so the same thing, the blood sample, instead of going to a doctor, the blood samples were taken in addition to the sample and the body weight of a person and other things are also taken into consideration, and it is stored in an export system here. The export system, by analyzing all of those things here, the export system itself used to give a used to suggest a medicine for that patient here who is having this type of disease here, right? But it was not commercially used here, right? Of course, a lot of things, a lot of study have been done, and initially they tried it for some patient also. Even actually what has happened is that a blood sample of some 10 patients who are having this disease was taken, and out of the 10 patients, 8 patient sample was sent to the famous doctors, and two patients blood sample was sent to this mycin, that is an expert system here, and some third-party people collected the opinions or prescriptions suggested by 8 doctors plus this mycin software here, and this opinion is sent to some other persons here, and those persons have studied the suggestions made by mycin and also by 8 independent doctors, and they came into the conclusion that the suggestion that was given by mycin was way better than the suggestion given by 8 different doctors here, right? And the decision and the suggestion was very consistent, and actually mycin won a competition in that year, right? But despite of all of those things also, that mycin was never being used practically because of how can you trust a machine for these type of things here, right? And there are many other reasons. Many doctors said that it's very difficult to, or it is not possible to use the computers for these type of things. Computer could only be used only for helping a doctor here, not to give any suggestion or something else here, right? They can assist a doctor. Finally, the doctor should be there. You only have to see the patient and give a medicine or something else by seeing the patient condition, because each and every patient is different, right? So that was the case of this mycin. This is one of the best example of export system. It was used in the medicine field way back in the year 1970 70 to 72 somewhere, right?